I want a divorce, Mike. This marriage is over. Mike felt his heart break as he looked at her, his heart shattering. Why, Meso? After everything we've been through, you want to throw it all away? She folded her arms. You're asking why? Look at me! Look at my life. I've been carrying you, this house, everything for months. I didn't sign up for this. Mike wheeled closer to her, tears pooling in his eyes. I know it's hard. I know I've been a burden, but I'm trying, Meso. I'll get better. I'll walk again. Just give me time. Once upon a time, in a peaceful neighborhood, there lived a couple, Mike and Meso. Everyone admired them. Mike was hardworking and generous, always making sure his family had the best. Meso, his beautiful wife, adored him and spent her days caring for their little daughter, Laura. Evenings in their home were magical. Laura would run around laughing as her parents played games with her. After Laura went to bed, Mike and Meso would sit in the living room talking and laughing, never running out of things to say. My darling, Mike said one night, holding her hand, do you know how blessed I am to have you? Me too, Meso replied with a playful smile. You're the best husband in the whole world. I am blessed to have you. We are blessed to have each other, Mike said. God loves both of us, and he gave us Laura to prove it. Their happiness was the envy of many, and people whispered about how Meso had hit the jackpot marrying a rich man like Mike. One sunny afternoon, Meso met up with her friends Jane and Favor. The three women sat in a small restaurant sipping drinks and chatting. Jane leaned forward with a smile. Meso, how far? How are you managing that old car of yours? Meso laughed. Jane, there's nothing wrong with my car. It takes me where I need to go. Favor rolled her eyes. With a husband as rich as Mike, my sister, you're managing too much. If you don't spend his money, another woman will help you spend it. Meso shook her head. You people won't understand. Mike and I don't care about material things that much. We're happy, and that's all that matters. Jane and Favor exchanged glances. Jane smiled and added, Happy you say so? If another woman enters his life now, you'll still be happy? You know these Lagos babes don't joke. While you're here managing, they're out there eyeing your man. Favor leaned closer, her voice low but sharp. My sister, open your eyes. You deserve better. Meso tried to laugh it off, but their words stuck to her like glue. She didn't want to show it, but deep inside, a small voice whispered, Are they right? That evening, her mood was different. Mike noticed immediately. My queen, Mike said as he hugged her. What's wrong? You look like you saw a ghost. It's nothing, Meso replied, forcing a smile. But it wasn't nothing. She barely spoke during dinner and went to bed early, leaving Mike puzzled. He sat in the living room staring at the empty space where they usually chatted. Something was wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Jane and Favor were celebrating. She'll soon start to question everything, Jane said, clinking her glass with Favor's. Favor laughed. Let's see how long her so-called perfect life lasts. Little did they know their plan was already taking root. Jane and Favor sat in Jane's tiny apartment, talking about their day, but the topic quickly turned to Meso. Please tell me how someone like Meso, who was not even that beautiful, ended up with Mike. Jane asked, folding her arms, her face tight with frustration. She's not even as beautiful as us, yet she's married to a millionaire. Favor nodded and smiled. It's not fair, Jane. We are here struggling to find decent men, and she's busy showing off her perfect life. Did you see the way she talks about her husband, as if he's the only man in this world? I feel like slapping sense into her. Jane hissed. My dear, don't worry. Her big mouth will soon close. All we need to do is keep giving her bad ideas until she destroys that marriage herself. She's too gullible to know what's happening." Favor burst into laughter. "That's true. Before she knows it, Mike will be tired of her, and she'll join us back in the single club." They clinked their glasses and laughed louder, not knowing that their words were setting the stage for a disaster that would soon affect everyone involved. One Thursday evening, Messo's phone rang. She was in the kitchen preparing dinner while Laura sat at the dining table coloring. "Hello?" she answered. "Is this Mrs. Messo?" a man's voice asked urgently. "Yes, who is this?" "Your husband has been in an accident. Please come to the hospital immediately." The plate in her hand fell to the floor. "Jesus! What happened to my husband? Is he alive?" The man didn't give many details, only urging her to come quickly. Messo grabbed Laura, rushed out of the house, and drove to the hospital. There, she saw Mike lying on a stretcher, unconscious. His face was bruised, and his legs were wrapped in bandages. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Mike, please wake up," she whispered, holding his hand. Days turned into weeks, and Mike finally opened his eyes. The doctors informed Messo that he had suffered severe injuries to his spine and might never walk again. It was a heavy blow, but she tried to stay strong for him. Back at home, the once vibrant Mike was now in a wheelchair. The man who used to run around with Laura and fix things around the house could barely move without help. Messo did her best to care for him, but the weight of it all started to show. She would bathe him, feed him, and push him around the house, all while managing Laura and the home. The love they once shared now felt like a distant memory. As if things couldn't get worse, Mike received a letter from his company. He had been laid off. "Why now?" Mike said, staring at the letter in disbelief. "I gave everything to this company. Everything." His best friend, Sam, came to visit that evening and found Mike sitting by the window, staring into space. "Mike, don't lose hope," Sam said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "The doctor said there's still a chance you can walk again. And who knows, maybe something even better than this job is waiting for you." Mike shook his head. "Sam, my life is falling apart. First my legs, now my job. How am I supposed to take care of my family?" Sam sighed deeply. "I won't lie to you. It's tough. But you're not alone. I'm here for you, and God is still God. Don't give up, my brother." Mike nodded slowly, but deep inside, he felt lost. He didn't want to burden Messo further, but he could see the frustration in her eyes every day. Meanwhile, Messo was reaching her breaking point, and as she struggled with her new reality, Jane and Favor were waiting in the shadows, ready to stir up more trouble. One evening, Messo sat at a lounge with Jane and Favor. Her eyes were tired, and her shoulders sagged as if carrying a heavy load. "Messo, you look like someone who fought with a lion. What's wrong?" Jane asked, sipping her drink. "My sisters, I'm just tired," Messo said, shaking her head. "All I do every day is push Mike around in that wheelchair, bathe him, feed him, take him to the toilet. Everything is on my head. I feel like a slave in my own house." Favor's eyebrows rose in surprise. "Oh my goodness! Why are you killing yourself like this? Doesn't he have brothers or sisters? They should come and carry their load." Messo sighed. "His siblings are useless. They only called once when the accident happened and disappeared since then." Jane frowned. "You see? That's why you have to think of yourself, my dear. This life is too short. You're young, fine, and smart. Why are you wasting your time like this? That man's chapter is over." Favor leaned closer. "Jane is right. And didn't you say Mike gave you money before the accident? Use it and enjoy yourself. I'd beg you, start something big, Make your own life sweet. You deserve better. Meso hesitated. I've been thinking of starting a business, but what? Jane interrupted. You know you don't have the patience for all those ups and downs that come with starting a new business. Look, what you need to do is buy a car, a luxury car. Money attracts money, my sister. When people see you driving something fine, big men will start noticing you, and that way, you'll attract a rich man that will continue from where Mike stopped. You need to get another man that can fund your lifestyle. That's how life works. Favor nodded, smiling. Exactly. A flashy car will put you in the right circle. Forget that man and focus on you. That night, Meso lay in bed unable to sleep. Jane and Favor's words kept echoing in her head. Am I wasting my life? She whispered to herself. Mike was asleep in his wheelchair, and Laura's soft snores filled the room, but Meso's mind was restless. 3 days later, social media was buzzing. Meso had posted pictures of herself posing with a brand new luxury car. The caption read, New beginnings. Big moves. God's grace. At Jane's apartment, she and Favor screamed with excitement when they saw the post. Mission accomplished, Jane said, clapping her hands. Favor laughed. I told you she'd listen. She's finally seeing the light. But back at home, things were far from cheerful. Mike sat by the window watching Laura draw pictures in her notebook when Meso walked in. The sound of her heels clicking against the floor caught Mike's attention. What's in your hand? He asked, noticing a key dangling from her fingers. Oh, that? It's the key to my new car, Meso replied casually. Mike frowned. New car? Where did you get the money for that? Meso dropped her handbag on the table and faced him. It's my money. Or have you forgotten the money you gave me before the accident? Mike's face dropped. That money? I gave it to you to invest, to build something for us, and you used it to buy a car? Mike, don't start. Meso snapped. Do you know how much I've sacrificed for this family? I deserve to enjoy myself. You can't just sit there and judge me. Their voices rose, cutting through the air like knives. Mommy, I'm hungry. Laura cried from the corner, pulling at Meso's dress. Mike pointed to the kitchen. Laura hasn't eaten since she came back from school, and you're here talking about cars? Of course, she will eat. I'll fix something for her, Meso said, brushing Laura off as she walked to the kitchen. Mike shook his head. This is not the woman I married. What happened to us, Meso? But Meso ignored him. After fixing a quick meal for Laura, she stormed out of the house. Mike sat in silence, his heart heavy. Laura sat next to him, eating quietly. The home that was once filled with laughter now felt like a stranger's house. Meso adjusted her hair and glanced at her reflection in the rearview mirror. She was meeting Chuka today, a rich man Jane and Favor had introduced to her as the solution to her problems. Chuka was everything Mike wasn't anymore, young, energetic, and always smiling. He didn't talk about hospitals or wheelchairs. He made her feel alive again. Madam Big Moves, you are glowing, Chuka teased when she arrived at the bar. You know I have to keep up appearances, Meso replied, laughing. They ordered drinks and settled into a corner booth, laughing like two old friends. Chuka reached across the table and touched her hand. You deserve all the good things in life, Meso. You're too fine to be suffering. Before she could respond, someone called her name. Meso! She turned sharply to see Sam, Mike's closest friend, standing a few steps away, looking both confused and angry. What are you doing here? Sam asked, his voice low but firm. Meso tried to stay calm. I came to relax. Is there any problem with that? Relax with another man while your husband is at home in a wheelchair? Sam's words cut deep, but she masked her guilt with anger. "Listen, Sam," she said, standing up and grabbing her bag. "Whatever I choose to do with my life is my business. Nobody forced me to marry Mike, and I've done enough for him. But you promised to be there for him. You vowed before God, or have you forgotten?" "Don't preach to me," she hissed, brushing past him. "Face your own family, Sam." Sam watched as she walked out with Chuka, his heart heavy. "This woman has completely changed," he muttered to himself. That evening, Sam sat in his car outside Mike's house, debating what to do. He didn't want to hurt his friend, but Mike deserved to know the truth. After taking a deep breath, he knocked on the door. Mike wheeled himself to the door, surprised to see Sam. "Sam, you didn't tell me you were coming." "Come inside." Sam sat on the couch, his hands folded together. Mike noticed the tension and frowned. "What's wrong?" "A lot, Mike," Sam began. "I don't know how to say this, but I saw Meso today with another man." Mike's face fell, and he leaned back in his wheelchair. "Are you sure? Maybe it wasn't her," he whispered, though deep down he knew Sam wouldn't lie. "It was her, Mike," Sam said firmly. "She was with him at a bar, laughing and holding hands." Tears welled up in Mike's eyes. "I knew something was wrong." "She's been acting different for months now, but I didn't think it would come to this." Sam moved closer and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Mike, I'm telling you this because you're my brother. You don't deserve this. You've been through too much already." Mike nodded, wiping his face. "Thank you for telling me. I don't even know what to do now. I feel like my whole world is falling apart." Sam stayed with Mike for hours, comforting him and helping him process the shocking news. But as the night went on, Mike's sadness slowly turned into determination. "I can't let her keep doing this, Sam. I need to confront her," Mike said, his voice steady. "Whatever you decide, I'm here for you," Sam replied. Mike nodded, but deep inside, he wondered if his marriage could ever be saved. It was late at night when Meso finally returned home. The house was quiet except for the faint sound of the fridge. As she walked in, she noticed the living room light was on. Mike sat in his wheelchair, waiting. His face looked tired, but his eyes were sharp, focused on her, as if he already knew what she had been up to. "Meso, where have you been?" Mike asked, his voice calm but heavy. "I went out," she replied casually, avoiding his gaze as she dropped her bag on the table. "With who?" he pressed. Meso sighed loudly, irritated. "Must you always ask questions?" "I'm tired." Mike's voice cracked as he spoke again. "Meso, are you seeing someone else?" This time, she turned to face him, her eyes cold. "And so what if I am?" she replied. "I want a divorce, Mike. This marriage is over." Mike felt his heart break. He looked at her, his heart shattered. "Why, Meso? After everything we've been through, you want to throw it all away?" She folded her arms. "You're asking why? Look at me! Look at my life. I've been carrying you, this house, everything for months. I didn't sign up for this." Mike wheeled closer to her, tears pooling in his eyes. "I know it's hard. I know I've been a burden, but I'm trying, Meso. I'll get better. I'll walk again. Just give me time." Meso shook her head, laughing bitterly. "Time? Time won't change anything. You're the only one still holding on to this sinking ship, Mike. I've moved on. You should, too. Meso, please think about Laura," Mike pleaded. "She needs both of us. Don't do this to her." But Meso's mind was made up. She turned towards the hallway, her voice flat. "Laura will be fine. She'll understand one day." Without another word, she slammed the bedroom door, leaving Mike alone in the living room. Mike sat there in silence, staring at the door. His hands trembled as he tried to make sense of everything. He glanced at a framed family photo on the shelf. Him, Meso, and Laura smiling together. It felt like a lifetime ago. Inside the bedroom, Meso leaned against the door, tears silently falling down her cheeks. She gripped her phone, a message from Chuka glowing on the screen. "Good night, my queen. Can't wait to see you tomorrow." She closed her eyes, her heart torn between guilt and the desire for a new life. As Meso shuts the door on Mike, has she also shut the door on her family's future? Will Mike find a way to heal, not just his body, but his broken heart? What will happen when Chuka's true intentions come to light? Will Meso's friends, Jane and Favor, still stand by her when things fall apart? And what about little Laura? How will this storm affect the innocent child caught in the middle of her parents' choices? This story is far from over, and the next chapter holds even more shocking twists. Can love, forgiveness, and second chances win against betrayal and selfishness? Stay tuned for the continuation of this thrilling tale. You won't believe what happens next. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the story and would like me to continue, please give this story a thumbs up and type "Continue the story" in the comments section. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload the continuation. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you in the continuation.